Namaskaram. Hello and welcome, hardworking individuals. Do you know about that Prime Minister of India who was once an information broadcasting minister under the Prime Ministership of Indira Gandhi at the time of emergency? And at that time, there was the son of Indira Gandhi whose name was Sanjay Gandhi, and he was very powerful. And he asked this minister to curtail the media, but he did not agree, and because of that that minister had to lose his ministership and he was sent to Soviet as an ambassador. Well, that information broadcasting minister was Indra Kumar Gujral, who later becomes the Prime Minister of India. And do you also know that there was one another Prime Minister of India who had to leave his prime ministership because there was something related to Lalu Yadav and the fodder scheme? Well, he was H.D. Deve Gowda, and these two Prime Minister H.D. Deve Gowda and I.K. Gujral have something very common in them. They had a very brief period as Prime Ministers, and they were the examples of the coalition government. The coalition government about which H.D. Deve Gowda said that it's like a rainbow and it has a vividness to it, and I.K. Gujral, who had a vision for a friendly neighborhood. So we are going to talk about both of them in today's class. So let's get started. And if you want the PDF of this classes for free, guys, you can join our Telegram channel and there you can get it for free. And also if you are preparing for UPSC CSE or for TGPSC Group 1, we have just started a new batch and you are going to get exciting discounts there. So you can also call on the numbers given below and inquire for more. So let's get started with it, and first thing first, it is H.D. Deve Gowda after the 13-day Atal Bihari Vajpayee's Prime Ministership from 1996 to 1997. So H.D. Deve Gowda became India's 11th Prime Minister in June 1996, and he will lead the United Front coalition that was there with the external support from the Congress party as well as from the CPI Marxist. This was a period of political instability. We have already seen that as no party had won a clear majority in 1996 general elections, and the BJP emerged as the single largest party with 161 seats but could not sustain a government beyond 13 days under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Globally, if you talk about that time, it is the end of the Cold War, and you have United States emerging as the sole superpower, and China was also rising economically, with Russia was still recovering from the Soviet Union's collapse, and the international system was transitioning to a unipolar world. Now, Deve Gowda's government prioritized improving relations with the neighbors and maintaining India's traditional non-aligned stance. They worked for strengthening ties with the South Asian neighbors, managing the complex relationship with China, and also addressing issues with Pakistan while maintaining the strategic autonomy at that time. Now, if we talk about the relations with the major powers, first and foremost, the China, the most significant achievement, we will see that Chinese President Jiang Zemin's historic visit to India in November 1996 marked the first ever visit by a Chinese head to a state of India, and this visit resulted in the signing of the confidence building measures agreement in the military field along the LAC, that is the line of actual control. When we talk about the Russia, relations remained stable and India continued to maintain its strategic partnership with Russia, and also with the United States, official relations were cordial but faced challenges over issues like the CTBT, which India refused to sign once again. We have already discussed about CTBT in our previous classes. So this is a complete series. You can subscribe to our channel and you can see our playlist for more. The landmark achievement we'll see which was related with Bangladesh was the Ganga Water dispute. So Deve Gowda sent West Bengal Chief Minister Jyoti Basu to Bangladesh for negotiations, leading to the signing of the Ganga Water Sharing Treaty on December 12, 1996 with Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina back then. Now, the Ganga Water Sharing Treaty of 1996, let's see a bit about it. So, in 1972, India and Bangladesh, after Bangladesh's independence, began discussions on water sharing. 1977 agreement, a 5-year agreement on sharing the dry season flow at the Farakka, that was from January to May. 1982 and 1985 MOS of short-term arrangement, but no permanent solution was there. By early 1990s, tensions rose again, especially during lean seasons, that's March to May. And then finally, after long negotiations, a 30-year treaty was signed in 1996. Now, signing of the treaty, if you see date 12 December 1996, it was signed at New Delhi. Indian PM was H.D. Deve Gowda and Bangladesh PM back then was Sheikh Hasina. Main provisions of the treaty, if you see duration, it was valid for 20 years, that is from 1996 to 2026. Renewal was to be done by mutual consent. Then we'll see the sharing formula applies during dry season, then based on average flows at Farakka, and these are the some other mechanisms that are related to it that you should know about. Now, that was Bangladesh. What about Pakistan? Limited progress due to Pakistan's domestic political instability following Benazir Bhutto's removal in 1996, and with Sri Lanka, we'll see External Affairs Minister I.K. Gujral's visit to Sri Lanka in January 1997 strengthened the bilateral cooperation. Now, important initiatives and the doctrines, if you see, so while Deve Gowda's tenure was brief, the most significant contribution was laying the groundwork for what would become the Gujral Doctrine. And as External Affairs Minister I.K. Gujral articulated these principles during his speech at the Chatham House in London in September 1996, and the doctrine emphasized India's role as a benign big brother in South Asia, willing to make unilateral concessions to smaller neighbors without accepting the reciprocity. This is something that was the Gujral Doctrine. Now, major visits and agreements and events, if we see, so the Jiang Zemin's visit in November 28 to 30, 1996, this was very significant because he was one of the first to do so. Then the Ganga Water Treaty in December 12, 1996, the 30-year comprehensive treaty resolved a decade-old water dispute with Bangladesh, and the CTBT opposition to the USA is continuing from India. Now, let's talk about I.K. Gujral or Indra Kumar Gujral. That's from 1997 to 1998. Now, I.K. Gujral became India's 12th Prime Minister on April 21, 1997 after Congress withdrew support from Deve Gowda, and it was done so because there was Lalu Prasad Yadav, whose fodder scheme case was very highlighted at that time, and he was also a coalition member and he did not wanted Deve Gowda to continue. His government continued until March 1998 when it fell due to the withdrawal of support following the Jain Commission report on Rajiv Gandhi's assassination. Globally, this period saw continued American hegemony, China's growing economic influence, and Russia's gradual stabilization. Major foreign policy objectives, if you see, it was implementing the Gujral Doctrine principles. We have already seen about that, normalizing relations with Pakistan, and also strengthening India's position in South Asia while maintaining non-alignment at that time. Relations with the major powers, if we talk about United States, relations improved during Gujral's tenure, with both countries working on economic cooperations and also managing differences over the nuclear issues. China, building on the 1996 agreement, relations remained stable, and also there was a focus on the border management. In Russia, India maintained its strategic partnership with Russia, with both countries supporting multipolarity. Now, relations with the neighbors, if we talk about, Gujral's most significant achievement was initiating structured dialogue with Pakistan. The Foreign Secretary level talks in Islamabad in March and in June 1997 established the framework for the composite dialogue process that covered 8 major issues: peace and security, including the CBMs, the Jammu and Kashmir, Siachen, Vulgar Barrage or the Tulbul Navigation Project, Sir Creek, terrorism and drug trafficking, economic and commercial cooperation, and the promotion of friendly exchanges. Both Prime Minister I.K. Gujral and P.M. Nawaz Sharif attended the 9th SAARC Summit in Male, that's in Maldives, in May 1997. Now, when we talk about the Bangladesh, the 1996 Water Treaty was successfully implemented with joint monitoring, and Sri Lanka, Nepal, Myanmar, the relations improved through increased economic cooperation and people-to-people contact. This is the map where you can see about the China. There we had some success. And now about the Gujral Doctrine. So there were the 5 principles to this Gujral Doctrine. Now, number 1 was the non-reciprocity. So India would extend unilateral concessions to smaller neighbors without expecting anything in return. No territorial use against others. No South Asian country should allow its territory to be used against another. Non-interference, respect for internal affairs, territorial integrity, that is mutual respect for the sovereignty and the territorial integrity, and the peaceful resolution. All disputes to be resolved through bilateral negotiation. This was the Gujral Doctrine that you should know about, very famous. And then the composite dialogue with Pakistan that we have already seen in June 1997, Foreign Secretary talks in Islamabad established. The 8 working groups we have already discussed, and in Mali, the SAARC summit, Gujral's meeting with Pakistani PM Nawaz Sharif, and also the CTBT's stance is still the very same. India is refusing to sign it. This year, guys, you can see this is the Kashmir administered Pakistan or the Pak occupied Kashmir, but this is an integral part of India. The time and again India has acknowledged, and the world also acknowledges the very same. So assessment and legacy, if you see, Gujral's policy tenure, though brief, left a lasting impact on India's diplomatic approach, and his initiation of the composite dialogue with Pakistan created a structured framework for bilateral engagement that survived multiple governments. However, we'll see the doctrine also faced criticism later, particularly after the 2008 Mumbai attacks for allegedly weakening India's intelligence capabilities in Pakistan, and the nuclear test by both India and Pakistan in May 1998, shortly after Gujral's tenure, also highlighted the limitations of the peaceful approaches. So that was what was the period of H.D. Deve Gowda and I.K. Gujral. There are a few questions that you can see here, guys, and it will be helpful for you for the examinations perspective. And if you want the PDF of this classes for free, you can join our Telegram channel. Also, if you have any question regarding your preparation, you can call us for free and ask to any of the educator. Which of the following is not a principle of Gujral Doctrine introduced during I.K. Gujral's tenure? Well, you have to see it, and let's see this answer. The answer is here. So on and so forth, you can see there are these questions which you can pause the video and see the answers to, and also the explanation. And once again, if you're preparing for the examinations, guys, this is the time where you buck up. You can join our Telegram channel, and also please subscribe if you want to meet us again. Also, guys, if you're preparing for UPSC, TSPSC or APPSC, for one-on-one live batches with Deepika ma'am and also with the other educators, you can join the mentorship program. And believe me, it is very helpful because every topper has a mentor. So we'll meet again. If you subscribe and keep working hard, today or tomorrow, you will be successful. Namaskaram.